What is up, YouTube? You're here with me, Bernardo Rocha, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Canon RF 35mm f1.8 lens. Now this nifty little lens retails for $500, and it was one of the first RF lenses that Canon actually released for the new mount. And I've had this lens since day one, from the very first day that I got my Canon EOS R. And like a lot of you guys, no doubt, I freaking love the 35mm focal length. So I was very happy that Canon came right out of the gate giving us a 35mm lens. There's a lot to love about this lens, and also a lot of things to be aware of. Some shortcomings, some trade-offs with this lens. So make sure you watch the full video to get my full thoughts. One of the best things about this lens, of course, is the size. I mean, look at this lens. Look at the size. It is just so compact. It is lightweight. And it really is just a joy to carry around with you at all times. Now the lens pairs very nicely with the Canon EOS R. The size is right, the weight is right, and I can only imagine how nicely it pairs with the smaller Canon EOS RP. And I bring this lens around with me every single time that I travel because of how small and light it is. In fact, right now it is the smallest RF lens that Canon makes, and as we look ahead and we look into the future and think about all the other lenses Canon is going to release for this mount, I am certain it's going to remain, if not the smallest, one of the smallest lenses. Come to think of it, I do hope that Canon makes an even smaller lens for the RF mount and one day comes out with a pancake lens. Oh, that would just be so great for those of us looking for a tiny lens to just walk around with. Like imagine something like the EF 40mm pancake lens, just something that's about yay big and that you can carry with you everywhere. Canon, please make a pancake lens. Another killer feature this lens has is the ability to shoot in macro. It is really awesome to have this feature handy in a more versatile focal length than something compared to like a 100mm. And even though 35mm isn't necessarily a focal length that lends itself to a lot of beautiful bokeh, thanks to the macro capabilities on this lens, you are able to get some really nice background blurring if you stand close enough to your subject. I'm also stoked with the fact that this lens has image stabilization, which makes the RF 35mm 1.8 a very handy lens for filming. Just throw a variable ND filter on that bad boy, turn on the face tracking, and you can get some quality footage very quickly. IS is also handy to get very good photos in super low light situations. Just open up to f1.8 and with the IS, you'll be getting sharp photos all day. So it's a small lens, it has macro capabilities, and it has IS. All sounds amazing, right? Well, this lens does also have some problems that are typical of a lens in this price point. It is constructed out of a lower end plastic. The focus does tend to be a bit on the slow side, and the focus motor is also a bit loud. But the biggest problem that this lens has is the fact that images shot at f1.8, while sharp, have a bit of a hazy quality to them. And this is something that I have seen echoed in other reviews as well. But as somebody who loves shooting wide open every chance I get, the fact that the photos do look a bit hazy is a bit of a bummer. Though I am happy to report that once you stop up beyond f2, this problem virtually disappears. f2.8 of course is even better, f4 is fantastic, and those landscape shots at f8 are just superb. Now images wide open on this lens at f1.8 aren't bad, but it just kind of depends what you're looking to get out of this lens and what your needs are. Are you a more casual shooter? You know, are you just shooting pictures of your family, taking it on your own little vacations and on your trips? Then perfect. This lens is awesome and it meets the ever elusive three-way intersection of value, of versatility, and of image quality. For $500, the image quality is quite good. However, if you're a pro user and you need to deliver the highest quality shots to your clients, then I don't think the image quality on the RF 35 1.8 is quite there yet. And it's not that the images that come out of this lens aren't good. It just doesn't have a lot of character, if you know what I mean. The images don't feel as distinctive as some of the images I've captured with my RF L series lenses. really my biggest issue with this lens has nothing to do with the actual lens. Rather, it has to do with the fact that Canon is dragging its feet and has yet to release a L series 35mm prime for the RF mount. So many professionals are clamoring for a 35mm L series prime lens for the RF mount so that we can get the same insane image quality that we get out of the RF 50L and the RF 85L at the 35mm focal length. That would be a freaking game changer. And I don't know why it's taken Canon so long. Seriously, you guys know if you own them, the image quality out of these RF L series primes is just out of this world. And the day that we get a 35mm L series RF lens is going to be the day that my kit is pretty much complete. So yeah, my problem with this lens is that it's really my only option for a 35mm prime in the native RF mount. I could use, and I did use, the Sigma 35 Art Series lens on the EOS R for a while, but honestly, I really hate using the EF to RF converter. It just adds so much more bulk to the lenses. It adds so much more to the length of the overall camera. So I try to avoid it at all costs. This RF 35 1.8 lens is a great option, but it is our only option. So for us pros, it's really not the best option as far as a 35mm prime goes on our R series of cameras. We're probably gonna have to go with a 35mm art lens from Sigma. And I do think a lot of pros who own the 35 1.8 are gonna end up selling it once the RF L series 35 comes out. But I'm undecided because I do love this lens for a lot of reasons, and a lot of those reasons I think make it worth keeping regardless of whether or not we get that L series 35 anytime soon. You really gotta look at this lens like a Swiss Army knife. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily excel at any of those things. But it is a very versatile lens. The image quality out of this is good, you know, 1 thumb up, not quite 2, but 1 thumb up. Considering as well the size of the currently released RFL primes, those things are behemoths. They are very large lenses, and I'm sure that the 35 is going to be just as big, which gives us even more of an upside to keeping both 35s when we have the option for both. One can be your all-around versatile travel lens, and the other can be your professional workhorse. And guys, I know that I've said a lot of things in this review, and I'm sure that at certain points it sounds like I despise this lens, but that simply isn't the case. It does bum me out, again, as somebody who loves shooting wide open, that images get that hazy quality that we discussed earlier. Even though it does have some deficiencies, this nifty little lens is definitely one worth having in your RF kit. Those were my thoughts on the Canon RF 35 1.8. What are your thoughts on that little lens? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section. I love seeing what you guys have to say, and I love interacting with all of you guys. Until next time, you guys, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and be well, be good. Take care of yourselves. I look forward to seeing you guys again.